How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the 52nd episode of Hot Gamers Only, the show where we talk about everything that's hot in the world of games. I am one of your hosts, Ethan, and as always, for one whole year, I've been joined by the co-host with the co-most. It's Hunter. Hey, Hunter, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell, better than usual. I've got a puppy in my lap today.
Let go of the push to talk. Hunter's on puppy sitting duty for this anniversary episode, so he's going to be on push to talk. So you're going to have to forgive him if stuff gets cut out, or we have to say, "What did you say, Hunter?" Because he might end up forgetting. But no, one whole year. We've also been joined for a majority of that time by the Weeb Wonder himself as well. It's Kyle. Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
Oh, has Hunter missed an episode? Or has he been here for everyone?
We will talk about that in the stats section of this video. Don't you worry. Hunter's just like, I'm done. Like, this is going to be a really fun episode because Hunter's just going to have to sit on that button the entire episode so that he can still sound reactionary. It's going to be great. But yeah, welcome to the 52nd episode of HGO. If you can believe it, we've been doing this for an entire year.
It's wild.
Our anniversary is on Sunday, technically, because that's how the days work. But hey, we're coming to you on Friday, and we'll have a new episode, a regular episode on Monday. But yeah, this is HGO, where every week for the past year, we have come together to talk about everything that's hot in the world of gaming. You can find us on podcast services, yada yada, YouTube, bit.ly/HGOYT. We're not here to talk about that stuff today. It's not a regular episode. I'm not going to sell us out. I'm not going to advertise or whatever, because we're just here to talk about what a year it's been. We're here to talk about the highs. We're here to talk about the lows. If you're expecting us to talk about games, really, this episode, it's not really going to happen. It's going to be all about us, because that's what we are.
Xbox talk to pop off this time.
We're going to talk about how well that episode's done. Man, I guess I just want to start off. We're not going to do any of the regular housekeeping, but I just want to say, whether you watched episode 1 or you've just joined us recently in 2021, thank you so much for watching this show. It's kept me sane over the past year. I know that much. So whether you've listened to only a couple of episodes or you've somehow managed to listen to all 52 of these and sat through my bullshit for all this time, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And this is just the beginning. This isn't the end. It's the closing of season 1, I guess. We'll be back on Monday, I promise.
And we're done. Yeah. Goodbye.
As always, all of our projects end in March. Goodbye. We fade off into existence. But whether you were here while we were still running over as the giggers, or whether you're here now into this new era of HGO, we really do appreciate it, and thank you so much for your support. And please continue to watch, because we've enjoyed doing it. I guess, where do you want to start, guys? Do you want to start with the stats? I went through all of the episodes. You're going to have to say something, Hunter, because the audio listeners are going to fucking hate you this episode.
Oh, right. Sounds good. Stats it is.
Stats it is. Brilliant. So, I guess we'll start by talking about some hot statistics.
Hot stats only.
Hot stats only, dude. We're going to start with a number of appearances from everybody, right? So, I did the maths. I've been through every episode of HGO. Starting off with me, I have appeared in all 52 episodes of the HGO podcast. And
Yay!
Thank you, Hunter. Couldn't hear the clap, but thank you.
Hey, you can't push to talk and clap at the same time.
You've got a point.
That's a big ass.
You've got a point. What a garbage truck on fire. Anyway, it's fine. That's not of my own accord, though, because there was supposed to be one episode that I had off on my birthday, but I ended up showing up anyway when I wasn't supposed to. So, 51 main credits. The Spider-Man episode.
Spider-Man one.
Yeah, you were hosting.
You weren't in that much of it.
I checked. I was in the 15 minutes of the 50-minute episode. I was in far too much of it. I wasn't going to count it until I saw how much I was in it, and I was like, oof, that's a shame. But yeah, I've been in all 52 of the episodes in one way, in some way, shape, or form. I've hosted 47 of those episodes. Hunter is the next person on the list with the highest amount of appearances. 49 appearances on the show, although he has only hosted once.
Hey man, I just work here. I show up, say weird stuff, and bounce.
Yeah, you do. But I think it's very interesting as well that the 3 episodes that Hunter missed were episodes 2, 9 and 21. Ever since episode 22, Hunter has not missed a week of this show. He has basically been full time on it like me, so that's very impressive. Well done, Hunter. Thank you for putting up with me for that many weeks.
No problem.
Kyle is slightly behind us too. He has missed more weeks than us. He is at 37 weeks of the show, 37 episodes, but he has hosted 4 times, surprisingly. For those of you who don't know, it's the Persona 5.
I want to see if I know them.
Go
on. Spoiler cast, Persona 5 spoiler cast.
Yep.
The Xenoblade episode.
Yep.
Xenoblade spoiler cast.
Yep.
And the Spider-Man spoiler cast.
Not spoiler cast, first impressions, but very
first
close.
impressions.
You didn't show up to the
that's
spoiler
right.
cast.
I wasn't there for spoiler.
Because quote unquote, I don't remember what happened after 2 weeks of playing it, so you're just like, I can't be bothered because I don't remember the plot. So there you go. That's from the main host. That's the number of episodes we appeared in. The others that we like to call the regulars, I guess, on the show. Jack has appeared in 13 episodes. He had a surprising streak in 2021. Let me find it out. Where when we came back in 2021, Jack showed up for 3 episodes in a row, missed a week, but then came back a week after, and Kyle missed more weeks than Jack did in that period. So Jack seemed to have replaced Kyle in early 2021, but there you go. So there's a little fun fact about Jack's appearances. Sam's appeared in 7 episodes, which I'm not gonna lie, that's more episodes than I thought Sam has appeared in. So good job, Sam.
I thought it was closer to 4, to be honest.
Yeah. And then Kane is actually sitting on 4. Which just shows to me that we need to bring Kane in on more stuff, because he appeared in like the 2nd episode of the podcast and then had a massive break. He showed up more frequently in November, December time and for Crash and stuff like that. But other than that, he's kind of been MIA. We've had 5 guests over the course of the year. We had Jacob, who was in the Persona 5 spoilercast, Yo Schiller, who was in the Smash Bros. Fighters Pass predictions. We had Gary, who did the PS5 reactions. We had Nate, who did the PS4 in review, the retrospective that we did. And then we had Greg appear in the Best Years in Gaming History episode. In total, we have done 52 episodes, as we've said. 20 of them were audio only, with 32 of them being video episodes where you've looked at our stupid faces. If you can believe it, you've been looking at our stupid faces for longer than you've been listening at this point, if you have watched them. Total length of the podcast up until episode 51, not including this episode, was 68 hours, 33 minutes, and 53 seconds. Including this one, we will be in 69 territory, boys. Well done. Nice as all around. We did it. The dog is going. There goes our viewership. Bye, viewership.
Bye, puppy.
And bye, Hunter, as well, from the looks of it. But there you go, the puppy is gone. I guess we'll also talk about some more audio stats here. The longest episode, can you believe it, is the Persona 5 spoilercast. I can't believe that episode wasn't beaten.
No way.
Yeah, the Persona 5 spoilercast. I should say all of these are going on actual audio, are going from the video versions, which include intros, so it's slightly shorter, but I didn't want to go through podcasts to find all this data, so it was a lot easier. You can probably turn off Push to Talk now, Hunter. You're probably welcome back into the land of the living.
I think that's what he's doing.
Am I back?
Welcome back.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Bye, puppy.
Bye, puppy. If you didn't hear, Hunter, and you're not shocked, Persona 5 spoilercast was the longest, 3 hours, 16 minutes, 45 seconds of that.
God, it was so much.
I can't wait till we beat it with the 2nd Royal spoiler.
No.
Get us to 100 subs and we'll do it. Shortest episode. Spider-Man Miles Morales review was the shortest episode with 51 minutes 37 seconds. That's why I counted myself as an appearance, because it was the shortest episode, yet I still managed to spend 15 minutes in it. So
hey,
there
dude,
you go.
To set up that I don't feel so good joke.
I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. The average length of a HGO episode from year 1 is 1 hour and 20 minutes and 39 seconds. So there's a little average stat for you. I've got more stats, if you can believe it. We have the most watched episodes and the most listened to episodes of HGO. I'm not going to say specific numbers, because those are always, they're bound to change every fucking week. So I'm just going to say what the current top episodes are. So then when we come back to it next year, we can see how many of these are still in the top 5 for each one. Right. Most watched on YouTube. Number 1, shocker, Smash Bros. Fighter predictions with Yoshilla. Number 2, the Persona 5 Royal Spoiler Cast is at number 2. Number 3, and I'm really proud of this one because it's one of my favourite episodes. I'm sure we'll talk about it. The Fantasy Draft is at number 3.
Oh, yeah.
Number 4, which was a shock for me to find this one out, was the 24 underrated games that you need to play episode, which is really fun. I'm surprised that a topic episode actually got into the top 5. So there you go.
Nice.
And then number 5... Xbox Bethesda acquisition.
The one that came out yesterday as of recording.
Yeah, as of recording, it has already become our 5th most watched episode. Could change. Viewership numbers will probably go down because I know, for example, if you guys ever watch a podcast in 2 halves, it'll only count as 1 view. Eventually, YouTube will correct itself and go, hang on, that person just came back and rewatched it. So, numbers are likely to go down. But yeah, currently it is the Xbox Bethesda video, which just makes me laugh when gathering this information. I was like, this can't be true. Most listened to...
Because you know us, known for playing Xbox.
I gotta buy a fridge now, apparently. The audience wants us to own fridges, so I'm gonna buy a fridge. Another little fun little bit of information is most listened to podcasts. Number 1, by a country mile. I am not exaggerating. Persona 5 Royal Spoiler Cast, most listened to episode, has been since it's come out. And it continues to grow. I believe that it's been listened to 4 times more than the second place episode. Everyone really loves that freaking episode. I'm glad that you like it. Jacob, who was on the episode, has been messaging us recently saying that he's been re-listening to it. And just him saying that, oh, I can't believe we did this. And I go, I forgot that we did that. So it's
my friends who recently beat and watched Persona 5 Royal ended up listening to it a couple weeks ago, and they were sending me stuff that I had to try and recall from listening to it 6 months ago now.
Yeah, it's good
stuff like that will be brought up later.
It's like I remember being there for the episode, the whole thing. I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in it.
Thing is, I was talking for half of it, and Jacob was the other half. Yeah. I don't remember what we talked about either. It's great.
Like, you and Jacob just went off about the story.
Oh, it was a great conversation.
That was like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great episode. If you have played Persona 5 and you want to go listen to it, Royal, go and listen to it. Second is Smash Fighter predictions. So surprisingly, those two are flipped on the podcast services. But something that I thought was awesome was the other 3 are completely different on podcast services. Number 3 on podcast services is our Last of Us 2 spoiler cast, which is
really
rather surprising. Yeah. I didn't realize that many people listen to us talk about that game, so thank you for that one. Number 4 is the Pokemon Sword and Shield Crown Tundra DLC video that we did. Fun fact, that just missed the top 5 on the YouTube side, but it was in at number 4 on this side. And then number 5 was actually a tie, and this one blew me the fuck away at what these 2 were tied. I did not expect it to be these 2. The 2 that were tied were our Pokemon Generations Ranked video, podcast episode, and Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled in Review.
What?
That one
shocked
me. Because we're going to talk about it. I honestly think that's one of the worst episodes that we've done. Not because of Jack and Kane, just we'll get into it because of structuring issues and stuff like that. We were new to it. But the fact that episode, I wrote my least favourite episodes and my favourite episodes before this. And the fact that showed up, I was like, that's interesting. So there you go. Now, those are our top 5 listened podcasts. I have got one little bit of quirky information. I know someone was going to ask it, so yes, I went through every fucking episode. 44, I guess we can change it because he said it. Did you say it this episode? 45 swells have been said on the podcast since it started. Amazing. Every single episode where Hunter has not appeared, nobody else has said swell. I went back and checked. First episode you were right was episode 3 where you said swell, your second appearance. Was episode 6 where I said said it every time, but you'd only said it once before. Then you said
you created this monster.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Let me look here. Episode 8, I said, Kyle asked, "Are you doing it on purpose now?" And you said yes. Episode 9, you said Reaper, that's what people called me, but then threw in a swell a minute later. Episode 13 was an episode that you were in, but you didn't say it because I blocked you from saying it because I gave you a different intro. I went really into detail with this. I hope you really wanted your swell facts, guys. Episode 17, you said it, but you forgot initially and went back and re-added it in.
Oh, nice.
Episode 20, you said that you were Jim Crack and Dandy, which made me laugh. You then said swell after, which also made me laugh. The first time we brought up how many times you said swell was in episode 25, where you reviewed the footage to check how many times you said it. There was a failed segue at episode 27 that didn't work. You then followed it up the next episode with a successful segue. 2 episodes after that was the first time that I didn't react to you saying swell anymore. Every episode before that, I had given a terrible grunt or for God's sake. That was the first episode where I just accepted it.
Anyone working on a Wikipedia, I hope you're taking notes right now.
I hope you're taking notes for these excellent stats that I created. Episode 33, you did say swell, but a fun episode. It was a Halloween episode. It's notably the only episode that doesn't start with, hey, how's it going, everybody? That episode started with, boo, motherfuckers, instead. Probably ends up... episode 34 was notable because Hunter was the host of that episode, yet I was the person that said that I was doing swell. So we still got a swell in that episode.
I believe I said that we were a swell group of people in the introduction there, though.
You probably did, but I did not count that because I count it as a response to how you're doing.
All right.
So I didn't really know that one.
Fair enough.
Episode 39 was the first episode of HGO where Hunter said, I'm doing swell, and Kyle didn't chuckle to himself. That is the first episode that Kyle didn't grin.
That's amazing.
If you can believe it. Yeah, because I noticed it. Yeah. And then, getting into 2021, episode 43 was the first episode where he introduced his bullshit saying, like, random stuff that he'd started saying. This was the first what do you think segment, and I responded with, we do this every week as a joke. Hunter then decided to add a tangent every week following that. He did it with the 2 episodes that Sam were in this year, which were episodes 44 and 47. He didn't go on a tangent, which leads me to believe that the only reason tangents weren't said was he's got something against Sam with tangents, because that's the only conclusion from the day.
I think one of them specifically was because of one of them was the draft, and I figured that was going to take a while, so I didn't want to pad the time with an extra stupid thing that didn't need to be there. And then
that's fair, and I respect
I just forgot the next time.
But yeah, you made a tangent in episode 46. You also did it. Is that 46? Yeah, 46 and 45. You didn't in 47. In 48, you didn't, but your cat hit something off the desk, which I'm counting as a tangent because we talked about it. The episode after that, you gave me your idea of a horror game where you'd have a swarm of invisible bees, and you went on about that for 40 seconds.
Kyle wasn't here for that. Dude, how terrifying would it be to be swarmed by bees that you can't see?
Oh man, the episode after that, both myself and Hunter said swell, and he went on about the Carpenter and Breath of the Wild for a bit that no one recalled.
I can't believe you don't remember Bolson still. It's
and then episode 51 was the episode where he said doing swell, and I said, what? No stupid tangent this week. Nothing along the lines of, would you launch a cat to the moon if it meant Microsoft had exclusives? And then you responded with, what if Pokemon Sword and Shield were called Pokemon Big and Pokemon Chungus? So,
and then that was I spent 2 minutes laughing at my own joke.
Yeah. And then this episode, we can count you as saying swell and having a tangent, because even though you didn't say a tangent, we went on a tangent because you were on Push to Talk. So there we go.
And I had a dog in my lap.
And there was a dog in your lap. But there you go. That is all of the information you would need about swell. I'm not doing this for year 2.
That's fair.
But that is all the information.
To it.
But that is all of the data I gathered for HGO over the past year. There's a load of other stuff that I didn't mention, but I thought that was a load of fun data. As you can see, I spent way too much time on this data. But there you go. I thought it'd be fun to recount a load of stuff like that. So there you go, Hunter. I went and listened to every time you said swell over the past year. So that's that, I guess. That's my part done. I'm done. I'm free. Stats are done.
Yeah, that's it. Show's over. Bye,
Show's
everyone.
over. Bye, everybody.
See you next year.
But
See,
no.
eventually we're just going to accrue a big enough audience to where someone will do this for us.
Oh, I hope so. If you want to start keeping track, guys, then you go ahead and do it. I'd really appreciate it. Gotta got a bit of a sore throat. But now...
Just hit us up at the start of every March. Be like, here's the stats.
Here's the stats. The more niche, the better, because all of that... Because the fact that I initially went in just going for yes or no's on the swells, but then I just started noting little factual details about each one just to make it more interesting, and I did enjoy myself, not gonna lie. So we're now gonna talk, I guess we'll talk, I'll throw it more to you guys, because I think I've been speaking a lot this episode, just shoving data into your faces. We're just going to talk about our favourite moments from the past year, our least favourite moments, what we've liked, what we want to do in the future, all that. We're going to start with our favourite and least favourite episodes that we've done. I want to start the segment before you guys start enlisting favourite, least favourite stuff. That, to anyone watching that was in any of these episodes that might be favourites or least favourites, it probably has nothing to do with you. It's just after doing podcasts for this long, it's probably more problems with ourselves. A lot of my least favourite moments are because of problems with myself, not necessarily problems with the people that are in them. So, that's what I'm just going to throw out. Don't get offended by any of these if you're actually on the episodes, because chances are all of our guest episodes are really good. So, don't worry about it. There's just little nitpicks. So, I guess I'll throw it over to you, Hunter. Do you want to start with some of your favourite episodes?
All right. Well, one that stuck out to me since we've done it, I tend to enjoy myself most weeks when we record this, but Halloween was one that I spent a bit more. I put a bit more thought into that than just the day before, as far as
same.
coming up with something.
I went out of my way to get an outfit. Yeah,
I liked how it turned out. It was fun to chat about monsters and stuff.
I'm looking forward to doing something similar this year. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had Halloween on my list too as my number one, and one moment in particular that I really.
We'll talk about it.
When...
We'll go on, talk about it.
It was when we were talking about zombies in the episode, and Ethan was talking about something from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And then he passed the mic to me, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. Have you ever heard of Plants vs. Zombies? Just the total whiplash between the two is what really just got me on that. And I'm like, oh shit, I have to follow up The Last of Us, and all I have is Children's Tower Defense game. Oh no.
Plants vs. Zombies is legit, though.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
If you hate the first game, you're a monster.
If we're talking about, we might as well. We can join favorite moments. We're going to do moments separately, but screw it. We'll join them in as we talk about the episodes themselves. Did I have a favorite? I swear I did have a favorite. Yeah, one was just dressing up for Halloween in general, and two was just the tone of it. My favorite part about the Halloween episode was I put so much into the outfit that I didn't even have a list before we started recording, so I was just thinking of them as we went along. Everyone else had super strong picks, and I was just getting to the end of it going, I have no clue what to say. Like, I was just looking at my one. And it's what will always be one of my favorites, because a lot of my favorite episodes are usually ones that we don't really prepare super heavily for. Because sometimes they go really terribly, which we will mention. But sometimes I feel like when we just go in not knowing what's happening, sometimes our best work comes from it, and just some of the funniest moments come from it. So I like that
Case in
quite
point,
a bit.
the Xbox Bethesda episode that just went up.
Still can't believe that did so well.
I don't know why.
It's because it was I 100% think it was because of the topic in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's 100% made me more interested in just having, even if we don't necessarily care about the topic, just talking about it in general. I feel like we have done, when we talk a lot about topics, we very much go in with a topic in mind. So it's now given me more interest in just going, hey, look in what's happened in the games world this week. We can just talk about it and move it onto a different topic as soon as we're done. But chatting shit or just having fun with a topic for a bit seems to go down well with people. We also get dislikes, but I love it when we get dislikes on videos, because it shows me that people that aren't the regular audience are watching. That's and it's true, right? Like,
reaction videos.
bless everybody who watches our stuff normally, because chances are you're going to leave a like because you like us or you like the content we make regardless. If we're getting a dislike from someone, it usually means that it's gone out of our audience, which I take as a positive thing. I don't go, oh no, someone didn't like it. I go, yes, that means that we found someone that gets easily agitated and it's kind of gone out of our reach, which is always fun. But no, it's made me more confident on talking about stuff that we don't usually talk about. We usually just stay to topics and first impressions, but I'd be more inclined to talk about news and stuff when it's fit now, and just having a chill episode every now and again. I guess I'll pass it to you, Kyle. Do you have we'll do a round table. We'll just go through episodes until we run out, and then we'll talk about least favorites, and that'll be even more interesting.
I guess next one I had after Halloween was the 24 underrated games.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first episode we started using cameras. It was also the episode where Ethan started throwing shit and we hated our audio listeners.
It was also the episode where my camera sucked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I noticed that. I nearly wrote that into the. I nearly wrote that into the fun facts, but there was only one episode where Hunter had a terrible webcam because the other week he didn't show up because it was the O'Schiller episode. So there was only one episode of him with a garbage webcam until he bought one, which is funny.
Dude, I had so many weeks of a garbage webcam.
Oh, God. It's really... One thing you guys don't understand is it's like, because none of us make money off this, we're all very much using like hobbyist equipment that we just have lying around from streaming or whatever. So it's very hard for me to just be like, when Kyle had a terrible webcam, to be like, buy a better webcam, bitch.
Now.
Who am I to say that? But I'm like, the day that Kyle got a decent enough webcam where it wasn't phasing in and out the color scheme every time he moved, that was the day that I was like, oh, that's one of my favorite moments, because it made my life a lot easier looking at it.
It was when I realized what my camera was doing, my old one, with the like that color phasing. I'm like, okay, it's time to upgrade.
Yeah.
How good quality can I get for low money?
Yeah, exactly. But no, I do like that episode quite a bit.
What I've got is good.
We'll talk about
angle shot.
Yeah, we'll talk about regrets later. But I did enjoy that episode, and I feel like one of the best things that we did was finally turn it into a video podcast, because I feel like audio.
Because that was a plan you had for a while.
It was a plan from the start. It was just because I'm a one-man army. I have these two people here that are great and record with me every week, but in terms of editing and everything, you see all the production stuff, that all comes on my end from my time, and I don't have all day every... Well, I do at this current stage, but I don't have the motivation to spend all day every day. I will be for the most of this week to get the rebrand done for next week. But it's hard being a one-man show a lot of the time, so being finally able to be like, now's the time that we can introduce it. We've worked out the kinks enough in the audio version that we can successfully do it. It was a good time.
And I even think that, like, for that episode being a test run of the cameras, I thought it went really well. I thought it was a ton of fun.
Pretty good.
It's a good episode. And that's
still what I go back and think about every now and then.
Now that I think about it, I think that makes it hilarious. The fact that it made it into the most watched episodes as well. It was the first episode with webcams, and I made it into the top 5.
I'm really glad it did.
That's kind of fun. I guess I'm gonna mention this one. One of my favorite episodes it's the most listened to, but it's still, I'm proud of the Persona 5 Spoilercast being the most listened to episode, because that was the first time, like, we'll talk about least favorite moments, but I remember if you go back and listen to the first 10 or so episodes of HGO, it very much is a learning curve. The audio is fucking terrible in some of the first episodes. It feels very staged. It feels very forced. We're not very comfortable in talking for extensive periods of time on the webcam. I remember thinking, how the hell are we going to talk for an hour every week? Now I feel like if we don't go for an hour and a half, we're under. No, it's got to a point now where I'm just comfortable doing this, where I'm like, wait, only an hour and 20 minutes this week? That's slow. Especially with how we've been doing them in 2021. But man, the Persona 5 Spoilercast, I've heard nothing but good things about that episode, and people really enjoying it. And it was the first time that we had a guest on, and Jacob was awesome, and we're planning on getting Jacob in more in the future. quite a bit more in the future. Actually, we're going to work on it. You'll probably see him show up in the next month or so.
When it comes to that episode, I'm really glad that you two were just able to click so
Yeah.
easily. Like, that was one of my biggest fears when I suggested it to him. But if I didn't suggest it, it would just be me and you.
Yeah, it would have, because Hunt hadn't played the game.
Or rather, it would have just been you.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been me.
I still haven't played Royal. It's on the shelf. I still haven't played it, though.
I would have just been bouncing off the wall, basically. You would have been just someone to keep me sane for an hour or so. But no, it is one of my favorites. It also just has a lot of funny little like quirks and little regular appearance things showed up in that episode for the first time. Me saying "get the fuck out" in spoiler cast started in Persona 5 Royal spoiler cast, which is just something that I love. Ethan Shipping Company was first introduced in the Persona 5 Royal spoiler cast. Still, I forgot that existed, to be honest, until Jacob mentioned it to me today, and then I went back and I'm like, yeah, that is a thing, and I keep doing it, and it's funny.
We haven't played a game where that is applicable very much lately, though.
We can't even do it with Strikers either, because there's no real romance options in that either, so it's pretty sad. We're just gonna
sucks.
yeah, especially if we'll leave it for the actual spoiler cast, but
yeah, we'll get to it.
But no, stuff like that. It's one of my favorite episodes. It's one that I'm meaning to go back and listen to at some point. But no, really fun episode. So there you go. Pass the baton.
An audience favorite moment from that is both of my friends enjoyed when you made fun of me for romancing Dr. Take Me.
I just remembered. I like triggered like 90% of the audience from the start by being like, oh, Makoto's like a B tier ship, and then everyone was like enraged. I was like, haha, my job is complete. But no, I do like that episode quite a bit. I do need to go back and listen to it. It's funny because it's the first spoiler cast we did, and it's probably still my favorite spoiler cast that we did.
It also, on a sidebar, it also had that oh shit moment where I think it was your internet went out, Ethan.
Oh yeah, that was the first episode.
Very briefly, like half an hour in.
Yeah.
So then we kind of just had to work with that. Thankfully, Zencaster was amazing and kept up where we were.
Yeah.
Or kept all of what we had recorded to that point.
Thankfully. And luckily it was only half an hour in, so the other 2 hours and 45 minutes were unaffected. But yeah, that was a really fun episode that I liked a lot. Anyway, I'm passing the baton, Hunter. There you go. Hang on. Boom. Go.
All right. So another recent favorite one is the draft episode.
That was on my list.
I just listened to this one last week because my MP3 died at work and I needed background noise. So that one was fun because it was relatively chill. There was, silly little predictions like this are fun just to see what people will pick.
Yeah.
Ethan spending the whole time being like, Ragnarok's not going to come out this year, and then picking it at the end is funny.
That's one of my...
The one that made me chuckle on the listen back that I just had was Sam neglecting to pick Monster Hunter and then picking Bravely Default 2, which is his lowest scoring game as of right now.
Yeah.
With a 78.
Yeah, and that's it's one of my favorite episodes. Looking back, like we took basically behind the scenes, you guys didn't see any difference, but we took like a 2-week break after Christmas off.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about the episodes that we've done since we've come back. But like all of the episodes that we've done since the return have been some of my favorite episodes that we've done. I don't know if it's just New Year, we're used to doing this now. They're just a lot better than a lot of our older content. I feel like we've become a lot more consistent. And looking at all those old episodes, I'm like, damn, that was a good episode. I really like the fantasy draft episode. Man, I really like all the episodes we've done this year, come to think of it. Like even some of the episodes where I'm not necessarily going, oh, like even like episodes that haven't been watched as much, like even just like the Persona 5 Strikers first impressions stuff like that, even that I'm like, that's better than the first impressions we were doing last year.
I still had fun recording that one.
It's still a good episode. Go and listen to it if you haven't, because it's still a really good episode. Like I say, most of the episodes that we've done this year, in fact, all of the episodes that we've done this year, I think are really great. At first, yeah, I think we've really started stepping the bar up in terms of actually being able to talk. I feel like we finally got there. It took like 40 odd episodes, but we finally got into the point where we can actually talk it in a podcast setting and not kind of sound a bit kind of robot-y. Yeah, exactly. But no, I do. I love that fantasy draft episode, and I can't wait to see at the end of the year where everyone's games have been pushed except for Sam's, and it's just like we're just living.
Can't wait.
Can't wait for the following year's fantasy draft where we all pick the same
games again. Yeah, guys, I don't think God of War's coming out in 2022. Picks it again. It got you twice. But no,
we're all gonna have like 2 games reviewed, and Sam's gonna have his whole list filled out.
Exactly. Yeah. Not very good episode.
No, fantasy draft was a fun episode,
and it's another episode where I'm glad that people watched it and listened to it.
Yeah,
because it was one where I'm like, every podcast kind of does those kind of episodes. So I'm like, oh, people are probably sick of it, but the fact that people watched it is great, and we're going to continue doing stuff like that. Definitely one of my things is do more experimental, more weird stuff this year. Not just kind of do either first impressions or a topic. We'll see what we're going to do. But man, it is one of my favorites. Anyway, back to you, Kyle.
Righty. My next one is going to be the Fighters Pass 2 predictions.
It's on my list for having my favorite moment, one of my favorite moments, which was me predicting Pyra for the Fighters Pass and getting it exactly correct that it would be Pyra/Mithra and not Rex. I'm still proud of that one, dude. Fuck
the lone correct prediction from that episode as of right now.
Yeah, but it was spot on, man. It was spot on.
It was.
I mean, I did talk about how like it could be like that you play as Rex and they're in the background, but I was like, I'm feeling certain that it's you play as Pyra/Mithra, and man, epic! What a fucking prediction from me. Absolutely great. I mean, everything else was fucking wrong, but hey, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna act as an industry insider from this point. Yeah, industry insider from this point forward. I'll just say, yeah, I predicted that, dude. I knew about it.
I'm the 4chan leaker.
I know all the leaks. Yeah, exactly.
But no, Fighters Pass 2 was a lot of fun. It was the first episode where we had a guest who was outside of anybody in our group.
Yeah. Our only guest, really, that we've had that's like been fully like another YouTuber that was
someone who isn't just a friend.
My favorite part of that was my friend Eamon, who listens to the podcast. Shout out to you, Eamon. He was like, how did you get him on the podcast? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, we just got Kyle to DM him, and he said yes. And he was like, no, but how did you do it? I'm like, it's not that big a deal. He's chill. He's like, he's followed by Reggie. Reggie follows him. How the fuck did you get him on your podcast? And I'm like, that's great. I love that. Well, he didn't say how the fuck, 'cause he doesn't swear, but he's like, how did you get him on the podcast? Reggie follows him. I'm like, it was fun, but no.
I guess like some backstory on that was
go for it.
I had so on Yoshiller's channel, he does this Pokemon battle series where he accepts viewer battles occasionally, and I had actually gotten to battle him 6-on-6 doubles. Was a ton of fun. Both of us have perspectives on our channels. You should give it a watch. It's really fun, even if you don't understand Pokemon. But then that was in April.
Yeah,
and then like a month later was when we recorded the episode. I DM'd him a few weeks back, like a week prior to recording the episode, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I battled you in Pokemon. Would you be interested in? And I know you run like a Smash Bros series on your channel. You don't really focus on speculation, but would you be interested in coming onto this podcast my friends and I run and talk about who we think is going to be coming up in Smash Bros?
And he said yes.
Yeah.
We kind of just threw a shot in the dark. We weren't expecting him to say yes, to be honest, but you were like, yeah, we'll see. And he actually said yes. It was pretty cool.
I'm really glad it did.
Yeah. It's a great episode. We'll talk about it more with things that we want to do in the future. But man, that was a good episode.
It was.
It cracked me up at being there, not knowing what was going to happen because I wasn't present for that one. It cracked me up while I was listening to it.
How does it feel, Hunter, that the only big guest that we've had on the podcast, you weren't there? It's like one of the 3 episodes you missed. I just find that funny that's one of the 3 episodes you missed.
It does crack me up.
In fact, now that we think about it, the 2 most watched and listened to episodes, Hunter's not in.
Maybe I should just not show up more often.
Maybe you're not the co-most, dude. Maybe you're not. Who knows? Maybe Kyle is.
All right, Hunter, we're killing off your character in season 2. I'm sorry. This is just how it has to be.
We need the viewer. Yeah. We're gonna replace you with a female counterpart, dude. We're gonna need the viewer. We need the viewer retention up, dude. We need the viewer retention up. Your long hair's not cutting it.
I'm sure she'd look absolutely dapper.
I'm sure she would. To be fair, we'll talk about it again. Female guest on the show this year. We're gonna have some fucking diversity on this program, guys. We're gonna have some diversity because literally all of our guests have fit into one category this year, and I'm like, man, we really need to step it up. So when we do have guests, and I'm promising, we're gonna try and get people on the show this year. We're gonna start sending emails and DMs and getting a load of rejections, but getting a couple of yeses. And diversity, we're gonna do it. We're gonna find someone that'll put up with us for an hour. But no, I do. I do love that Smash Bros. Episode. Speaking of guest episodes, I do want to mention this one. The best year of game in history with Greg is such a funny episode. If you guys haven't watched that episode, go and watch it because it's so funny. Like
that was really good.
It had been a while since we had talked to Greg. He's basically, for those who are unaware, he used to be a Jack. Well, he still does Jack stuff now and again. He was a Jack speedrunner that we knew back in the day.
I think he's mostly moved to Ninja Gaiden now.
He's also does
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, he also plays Persona and Kingdom Hearts and all that kind of stuff. But he got into contact with us again recently, so we were like, "Oh, do you want to come on the show? Why not? It'll be fun," and it was really fun. It was a really good episode. Really funny episode. Greg is very much, if you can picture what you think an Australian person on a podcast would be like, he is very much the definition of that, and he's great. And I liked it. It was a really fun episode, and there's some really funny moments in there. I also love it because we talked about Cyberpunk and it being like, this could be the greatest year ever because Cyberpunk's coming out, and I'm like, lol, looking back in hindsight, that's hilarious. Yeah.
That one thing that I really liked about the episode was how diverse all of our answers were.
Yeah.
True. It wasn't just like we all followed one kind of formula. It was just we were super spread out throughout a lot of years. I really liked that.
Yeah.
You know, Ethan picked the obvious 2017 because that's how he is.
Oh, fuck off.
They were all representative of our tastes.
Yeah, for sure.
So what? I have trash taste. Fight me.
2017 was a great year. Don't worry, Ethan.
Yeah, but I've got like normie taste.
Like Xenoblade 2.
Normie taste, trash taste, dude. You know, yeah. Dude. Oh, 100%. Xenoblade's a trash taste game, dude. Look at that voice acting. Look how great it is. I love it. Eat it up. My favorite. But no, it's a great episode. Go on, Hunter. Pass again. Your turn. Do you have any more? I'm running out because I only picked a couple of faves.
Yeah, I'm running out of like specific ones. There are things that kind of crack me up here.
Oh, if you have some favorite moments, go for it because I've still got a couple of those, I believe.
All right, so this is more of a hindsight after the episode thing, but the fact that coming from our Game Awards predictions, between the two of us, we only got 3 things wrong. That is a good moment. I wish I put that on the list. Yeah, it's so funny how predictable that was that we genuinely only got 3 wrong between us. That was hilarious. Like, yeah. Honestly. And half the time, it was us picking different answers because of variety, and we already knew what the right answer was, but we were like, I have faith in Persona, I have faith in Hades. Like, it was one of those situations. But no, that's good. One of my favourite moments is, I'll pass it to you in a second, Cal, because I've only got one favourite moment now. Actually, no, I've got 2 really small ones. I Don't Want to Go, Mr. Stark is fucking hilarious. I will always love that moment because I did it at the last minute, and I was like, that was just a funny little bit of improvisation that I liked. In hindsight, related to yours, Hunter, one of my favorites is going back to the Games Still to Come episode that we did halfway through last year and seeing how many of those games we're still waiting for. It's hilarious. We talked about like Halo, Kenna, what's that game? Deathloop. We talked about a load of games that we're still waiting for, and it's funny as hell. Cyberpunk
on last gen consoles.
Yeah, Like we're still waiting for a good version of that game. So yeah, but that made me laugh quite a bit. Have you got any more episodes or moments, Kyle, before we move on?
I got one more. The voice actor episode 43.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that topic. I think voice work is super fucking cool, and I liked getting to be able to talk about performances I enjoy. And also, you guys don't know this, there is like a 40 or 50 minute pre-recording from before we recorded the episode.
Hunter was late, so we recorded basically a whole bonus episode of HGO because I was testing recording.
I really want Ethan to upload that at some point.
I'm trying
to get him to do it.
I'll add it to the 100 sub bounty. If we get to 100 subs, I'll release the bonus episode. The main reason that I haven't is because I've forgotten what we've said, and there might be some personal... Yeah, release the HGO cut, get it trending. There might be some personal info that I might have to like censor out because I might have mentioned personal people, like personal names and stuff like that, which I'm not sure about. So I'd have to rewatch the entire episode and cut stuff out. That's the only reason that it's not been uploaded, is because I'd have to go out of my way to basically re-record the episode by watching it all again in the edit. But yeah, get us to 100 subs and I'll release the extra episode that we did.
We're giving you a lot of incentives to get us to 100 subs.
We genuinely do. Mario 64, you'll get at this point. We're promising you Mario 64, the extra episode of HGO, the first episode of Definitive. How many more fucking things do we need to give you guys on 100 subs?
How many carrots do we need to dangle at you guys?
Please, just get us to 100 subs, please.
That's all I want for Christmas.
I want it before Christmas, please. Can we get it by the end of April? Thank you, appreciate it.
I would like it by Christmas.
I hope we'd.
Present would be cool too.
I hope we'd be closer to going towards the 200 sub goal by Christmas. That'd be my hope personally. Like we'd be past the 100, working our way over, like at 120. Knowing our luck. But no. We've got a load of stuff planned. Please sub, so we can have the custom URL. That'd be great.
It's mostly for the URL at this point.
It is.
It feels like.
It also just gives us motivation. Seeing those 3 digits gives us more. It gives me more motivation to say, oh look, if I go to a review, like if I go to some PR person for a publisher or whatever, and they see that we at least have 100, they can see that we have like some people interested. You know, like that's the point where I'm like, okay, I'll start begging for people, like, hey, please come on our podcast. Look, we have 100
start
subs.
Asking for guests.
Yeah, start asking for guests and stuff. So yeah, please guys to 100. We'd love to. You have been subscribing recently as well, so we do appreciate it. So please get us over the finish line. So there's some of our favourite moments of favourite episodes. So I'm going to ask you guys, if any, do you have any least favourite episodes or least favourite moments? I have a couple.
I'm looking. I need to look at the episode list.
Right, I have a couple, right? Some least favourite episodes I have, which is ironic. Here we go. You ready for this one? I said that this would come into play later. One of my least favourite episodes is the CTR episode, right? And this has got nothing to do with Kay, nothing to do with Jack. That's why it makes me laugh that it's in the fucking top 5. It's because it's one of those, looking with hindsight, as a host, I did a terrible job where I structured it absolutely terribly. Everyone just felt like they were spilling points, like they were all just like making a point. It just felt like a fucking Watch Mojo video, but there was 3 fucking number 10s and then 3 number 9s and then 3 number 8s. And it just didn't... I don't think it flowed that well. People liked the episode, but personally, from me looking at it as a podcast perspective, I always just look at it and go, I did not handle that right. Which is all a part of my own. Kane and Jack were great. It was all a fault of my own, really. All of my least favorite episodes, I said this, like the first 8 episodes, I'm not a huge fan of because it's when we were still in that kind of working things out period. Audio's terrible in some of them. Some of the episodes feel a bit awkward.
Oh yeah, when we came back and talked about Final Fantasy VII and Persona for a second week in a row.
Yeah, because we didn't know what we were doing. Yeah, that one is a really fucking dumb episode, which I'm like, yeah, that's probably one of my least favorites.
It's the filler episode.
Yeah, it's the beach episode. It just showed up. Yeah,
I can watch the season.
Yeah, it was a filler. It was the beach episode, but it showed. Yeah, but it showed up at like episode 4 or 5 of the 52 episode season. Imagine an anime if the show was like beach episode by episode 4. You'd be like, okay, what the fuck? What's happened?
What the fuck?
But no. I also said that one of my least favorites is the Pokemon episode that we did the first time around, solely because if there's an example of episodes that Ethan shouldn't be a part of, that is one of them. Where one of my resolutions for the next time is I don't have to be in every fucking episode for there to be an episode, is what I'm hoping, because I know nothing about Pokemon. I was just there because I was the person that had to hit record.
I was also there, and I shouldn't
Hunt
have
was
been.
there. Yeah, you were there as well. Yeah, like that. It's a perfect example.
You were there.
That's
You were there.
That's a perfect example of if we were to do an episode similar to that nowadays, we'd have Kyle host it, and we'd probably get Sam, Jack, and then maybe even Jacob, and get that be the 4 people. And me and Hunter are just non-existent because, man, that's an episode to me where I'm like, we don't need
Or
to
I'd
be
play
there.
a Pokemon game to prep myself.
Yeah,
I do like how we used Hunter in that episode, though, where he was basically the guy who hasn't played Pokemon past, Generation 2?
That's the one. Pokemon Silver.
And then at the end, we're like, all right, pitch the game idea to him.
Oh,
Which one do you want to play, Hunter?
Ironically,
Okay, here's a favorite moment that I skipped over. You switching your debate up. Where you were supposed to argue against Gen 2, and then you started talking about how good it was. It still
I
cracks
can't
me
argue against Gen
You
2.
see-
That game's
You see,
fantastic.
what's great as well is I said it's one of my least favorite episodes because me and Hunter are there, but that episode is genuinely the premise of Definitive. This new show we're working on. It's basically that debate kind of format. With someone that's clueless being at the top, being the person that decides it all, is basically what Definitive will be when we start production on it. But man, it just makes me laugh now saying, oh yeah, that's one of my least favorite episodes because I'm in it. But the actual content of the episode when
It was still a fun episode.
when I'm not fucking talking is a great episode, and it's the backbone of one of the new shows that we're doing, which I find is funny. But me and Hunter being there for an hour a podcast was probably not the best idea. Yeah, was it an hour and 40?
I think so.
It's like one of our longest
long.
episodes. Oof. Yeah, not the best idea.
I mean, there was a lot of Pokemon to talk about. To be fair,
A lot of Gen 7 to bash.
a lot of Gen 7 to hit.
Hunter, do you have a couple? I have a couple more. But
This is less about necessarily the quality of the episode and just, I believe, the quality of my performance. The Tell Me Why spoiler cast.
yeah.
I don't believe I did too hot on. Mostly because I beat the game like 30 minutes before we recorded it.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have a lot of time to let my opinions and thoughts simmer before going in to talk about it.
I mean, we're going to talk about future plans and stuff like that in a little bit. But one thing that we've learned from doing spoiler casts is, one, we do want to do more spoiler casts for when games come out. But two, is they're going to... If you're listening on podcast feeds, you don't have to worry. Spoiler casts are still going to be on the podcast feed as normal. But we're thinking of moving them away from the HGO podcast main episode structure and just having them be a separate release when we feel like it, and then go up on the podcast at the same time, essentially. Is it become it no longer being a HGO podcast episode and just having spoiler casts as a new series is something we're planning on doing. And I 100% agree, because that episode, that Tell Me Why spoiler cast, is 100% an example of, we need a video. What's that? You just finished it 20 minutes ago? Perfect. I'm sure you're perfectly ready to talk about it. Like, it was... We very much rushed that episode. It's probably my least favourite spoiler cast, which is a shame, because I love Tell Me Why, but you weren't fully prepared, and I as hell wasn't fucking prepared either, because I had only just finished it pretty recently as well, so it was one of those things where...
You had like notes and stuff, though.
I did, but I just wrote my feelings as I went through. I didn't really reflect on those feelings. I just had a list of what I was feeling at the time. I didn't really give like an overall feeling on it, but...
No, that's fair.
It's lessons we learned, and like I say, it helped us really understand. It's why we kind of have taken a break from spoiler casts, at least I have, because I'm like, when we bring spoiler casts back, which they're coming back, we already said that there's going to be a Strikers one. We kind of leaked that. Oops.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, there'll be a strike as well. There'll be a Persona 5 Royal Spoiler Cast 2 as well. 100 subs, that's the fourth one, forgot.
Oh my God. That's right, yeah.
Yeah, it's very much taught me that we don't need to do spoiler casts instantly, and I'd rather have them be their separate thing and come out when they're ready. So yeah, that's a good one. Have you got any, Kyle?
Yeah, I have one.
Go on.
The Ghost of Tsushima first impressions.
I agree. That's one that I agree with.
So I feel like I didn't have enough time with the game to have accurate impressions on it, because at that point I'd really only played the intro sequence and a little bit of the open world part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really loved the opening sequence, so I feel like my view on it was kind of clouded.
Yeah.
Just solely based on the intro. Because
if you go up soon enough,
if you go and watch any future episodes, like the Game Award episodes, for example,
we're not that hard on it. Yeah.
I ridicule that game. And if I could go back, I definitely would have put more time into actually playing the game and making my opinion, and not just saying, "Oh yeah, this game's ooh."
Yeah.
Instead, be like, this game doesn't do anything for me,
Yeah. If Ghost of Tsushima taught me anything about it, is first things first. When we say first impressions, that was like a first impressions. Like, I'd played 3 hours, you'd played 4. Hunter was the only person that actually put some time into Ghost of Tsushima at that point. Everyone else had.
It was really funny after that episode recorded, me being the only one to keep playing it for a little while too.
Yeah, because we had Kyle
took a break. Kyle didn't care. I think, Kyle, you didn't bother finishing it, did you?
I haven't finished it. The game's not even on my PS4 anymore at this point.
I didn't think so. I just couldn't recall.
I do plan on playing it again at some point in my free time on PS5. I'm not going to mention it on the podcast, but I do want to just double check that I just wasn't bitter about the game, because I was disappointed with what I thought it would be compared to what it was. So I will go back. It's like Nier. It's one of those games that I need to go back and play at some point.
Yeah.
But if that episode taught me anything, it is, man, that episode taught me not to just fucking pander. Because that was 100%, and I look back at that episode and I'm like, that was 100% an episode where I saw that everyone else was loving it and I just joined the fucking hype train. Because I look back and I'm like, I know watching that episode that even when I'm saying those things, it's not even something that I realized after. I know looking at after saying stuff after I was that I wasn't having fun, that I was a bit bored, that I thought it was slow, that I thought the combat was great but the story wasn't.
Yeah.
And it just, I was kind of just wanting to be a people pleaser. I was just like, yeah, this game's great, which is funny because on Last of Us Part 2, I very much went on stood myself on a pedestal and made my point very clear, my feelings very clear on that game. That wasn't the biggest, everyone else was hating on it at the time, and I was like, I honestly think this is better than the first game. I put myself out there. So with Ghost of Tsushima, me going, yeah, it's great, when I wasn't feeling it. That's the one time where I'm like, I feel like I lied just so that I felt like I was a part of the majority instead of giving my actual first impressions, which I have changed since going forward. But man, it's not one of my proudest episodes, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, me personally, I don't, as a concept and execution, I don't think Ghost of Tsushima is bad. It's just I don't like open world games.
It's a really well made game. I'll never say that it's not a well made game. It's really well made.
And I promise you, if Ghost of Tsushima kept you focused on the story for the whole time, kept you on rails, and kept you engaged in a story, I would be all for it. But I personally just can't play open world games. Yeah. I think they're really freaking boring, truthfully.
No, it's a fair opinion.
It's why I'm not going to play Horizon. I'm not going to play Horizon 2 when it comes out. I'm not going to play Breath of the Wild 2. I've played a little bit of Breath of the Wild 1.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I can play games like Xenoblade 1 and 2 is because they keep you focused on the story, and all the side stuff is side stuff. You can do it if you want to.
Yeah.
You never really
absolutely
have to deviate from the main path.
Yeah, I agree. But no. not one of the strongest episodes. In my opinion, I genuinely do feel like we're pandering, but luckily it's one of our least listened to episodes anyway, so I can safely just be like, under the rug, push.
It's our Ghost of Tsushima podcast, so
no one else liked Ghost of Tsushima content from us. The reason that we can talk about this stuff, because we don't really talk about this stuff on the podcast. We can talk about all the nitty gritty. The reason that you guys didn't ever get a Ghost of Tsushima spoiler cast was because none of you cared, and neither did we. It was one of those things where the Ghost of Tsushima episodes that we did, and you can't say that we didn't try, because we had done about 2 or 3 episodes, because we did pre-release. We did at least 2 pre-release and 1 for first impressions. And they were like the 3 worst performing episodes. So we were like, got it. You don't care about Ghost of Tsushima, or if you do care, you don't care about listening to people talk about Ghost of Tsushima. So leave it. Walk away, which is what we did. Yeah. Do I have any others? I have a couple. One is being a part of the Spider-Man episode, because I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have been there because 1, it was a funny joke, but 1, I hadn't played it, so I shouldn't have been there. 2, it was my birthday, and I decided to waste an hour of my birthday sitting in silence with my headphones out because I didn't want to listen to spoilers from you guys. And it was just like, that's one of those episodes where I'm like, yeah, we should have just figured a way to have someone else record it instead of me sitting there. Another small one is my attitude towards Xenoblade Chronicles. Looking back at the Xenoblade episodes, I feel like I was way too sarcastic and a bit of a shithead about them, when I am genuinely like relatively positive about Xenoblade Chronicles 1. To me, it's like it's a good game. I don't hate it, I don't love it, but I come across like I hate the game when I genuinely don't. And I feel like my attitude in them was a bit shit, and it was probably because I didn't want to rush through that game, but I basically rushed through that game because we had a podcast to do. So that's one thing. Another thing. One moment, which is Hunter's. I'm going to mention it, Hunter. Yeah, one moment that I am going to mention. It's become one of my. It's become one of my favorite moments watching it back. The P3 spoiler, and you guys won't know this because I edited the P3 spoiler out. Basically, it was funny. I'm completely fine with this, by the way. It's just Nate, Hunter's friend, in the PS4 retrospective episode, spoiled P3 for both me and Hunter because we hadn't played it. And you can see like my heart shatter in the episode. It's one of my favorite moments now because it's really funny watching someone's fucking will die on camera.
You can pinpoint the exact moment his heart breaks.
And I've never mentioned it to Nate because I don't want him to feel bad, because I honestly do not harbor any like ill will towards him or anything like that. And that episode, I still think that episode is a pretty good. I really like that episode quite a bit. It's just that one moment, and I don't want him to think that I hold it against him or anything. So I don't. So I'll mention it like 3 months after it's happened.
I remember that happening and me being like, "Ooh, yikes!"
Yeah.
And then, because, now that I think about it, I think that's something I knew and just kind of pushed out of my head.
Yeah.
Like, I think that had been spoiled for me some other time and I had just forgotten about it. So, yeah. And
hopefully I'll forget about it again. Now that I've finally revealed that secret, I feel like I can let that one go now into the wind. One of the only times when a podcast has been edited, there have been a couple of times where podcasts have been edited. That was one of them. Was I removed the spoiler so everyone else didn't get it. So there you go. My reaction's still there, but I removed the spoiler because all about that content. The other ones that have been edited was not much. I think there's been a couple of times where someone's mentioned something that I'm like, I don't know if that should be in the podcast, not because it's terrible, just because I'm like, that's a bit of personal information that I don't know if they want on the internet, so I'm just going to remove that.
There was the in the draft episode when you went on Google.
Oh, I had to blur that out, because of my Oh, we can tell that story. Oh, yeah. In the draft episode, the reason that I had to re-render that episode 3 times, and it was already uploaded, and I was like, shit, was because on the Google search where it shows me going over to the draft webs, checking what the score of Resident Evil 7 was on OpenCritic, there was like my bookmarks tab was on view, and there was personal information in there that I didn't notice. So I was like, shit, and I had to re-render it all out. It'd be funny if it was still in there now, and I've just pointed straight at it, but I think I got it. But it just made me laugh because I was like, wow, what a dumbass. I really should have double checked. Another one was I removed a tiny bit from The Last of Us episode because I was ill-informed and I said something that wasn't true. And I was like, that's just me being a fucking idiot. I'm going to remove that. So I did. But other than that, most of the time, all the stupid things that we said have stayed in the episodes. Unless it was factually untrue and just shouldn't be there, or I fucked up. That's usually the two reasons. Or a spoiler that we didn't mean to have. But no. If you are watching, Nate, I just want you to know I do not hold that against you. Do not feel bad. I want to make that very clear that I'm okay with it. Now, yeah. I'm kidding. Has anyone got any other bad moments?
I do not immediately.
Specific moments. Are you good, Hunter?
Yeah, I'm good.
Right then. Well, I guess let's talk about regrets then. Does anyone have any regrets or things that we should have done differently? Does anyone have any second guesses of some of the things that we've done? I have a couple.
Well, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll get the ball rolling, I guess. Like, for example, one of the things that I wish we had done more is have more people on the fucking show than just us. More guests is one thing that I look back at and I'm like, we've done 52 episodes. The fact that we've only had 5 guests is a bit of a weird one. I'm like, I wish we kind of have had more people on the show, really. That's one of my things was, hey. And it kind of moves into, like, what we want to do going forward is, like, have more guests. I've got a couple more. One is planned in advance more. The amount of times, like I say, that we've had terrible episodes, not to the fault of anyone. It's just we need content. Who can come up with something in 10 minutes' time? It's one thing. One thing is I accept that we needed to do this to get everything working. But man, there's a part of me watching those first 20 episodes wishing we had video podcasts from the start. There's a small part of me that's like, man, I wish we would have had that. So that's one. Rebranding sooner is a big thing that I wish we did. If you didn't know, if you're new,
to save you headaches later.
Yeah, if you're new around here, this channel used to be called The Giggers, and it was because it used to be a channel for the friend group that we had, basically. But what we realized was, it was a collaborative Let's Play channel. But what we realized was no one. We haven't really talked about why we rebranded, so I guess we can talk about this. Is no one except for like the 6 of us who work on HGO. We don't even really talk to them anymore. Never mind, like, even have them on the channel. It was kind of our thing. So So the reason that we rebranded was I was basically I was like, yeah, can we have the channel? Essentially, can the channel be ours and it's our own separate thing? So it isn't it's just us. It's just it's the 6 of us plus any guests that show up. That's what Hot Gamers Only is, really. It's mainly us 3 with Sam, Jack, and Kane showing up every now and again. That's who it is. We thought it was confusing because there's been like dozens of people in the group from different points in time, and we were like, at the end of the day, HGO is us 6. That's who HGO is, and it's not that we just want people to know that it's us, and we don't want anyone going, hey, this is my thing, or hey, I'm a part of this, when they're not. It's just us 6. And also, it was a headache for the algorithm as well. Everything being HGO makes it a lot easier. Everyone knows now where to go. You just go to HGO.
I think it's the channel results way sooner now.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot easier for you to find us now, which is a good thing. But no, if you ever wanted to know, those are the 2 reasons. One, because it didn't represent who we were, because it's just us 6. That's the main thing. You know who you're talking. If you're watching HGO, you can expect those 6 people on it, and maybe a couple of other special guests or odd appearances. But those are the 6 people, and also for rebranding. We should have done it from the start, to be honest. I don't know why we didn't. I think I felt bad taking a channel away from the other, 8-10 people, but I was like, fuck it. We hardly talk anyway. Fuck them. We hardly talk anyway. This is our land now. So yeah, there you go. Now you know the dirt on that. There is none. And there's no bad blood because nobody cared anyway.
I don't even know these people.
If it makes you feel any better, Hunter, neither do I, for the most part. There are a couple of people who haven't really been a part of the channel that we do talk to, that we do know. But a majority of the people, that was another thing. A majority of the people in that group, not shit stirring, not shit talking, I don't know. Or if I did know them, I knew them when I was like 13, 14. I don't know who they are now. I don't know what they were up to.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, I was like, I don't know what they've done, and I don't want it to bite me in the arse later on if like someone that isn't us 6 then comes out and it's like, this person that you'd known like 8 years ago turned out he was a criminal. I'm like, well, I don't want that bringing my podcast down. I don't want that bringing my gaming podcast down.
Never get 100 subs with this.
We'll never get 100 subs with this. It was mainly
dude, that's YouTube drama. We can get that.
It was mainly a way for me to just know, I know who's involved with it and who's involved with the project. And it is our project. Don't want anyone else taking credit, really. As selfish as that is, in a weird way. 2020 is
put your name on this project.
Yeah, it's a weird time, but I know the people that work on it, and I'm happy knowing that those people are all good and don't want any bad apples ruining the fun for the rest of us, I guess. Or at least I think you're all good. Dun dun dun. Season 2 plot twist coming up. I really hope that
one of you is going to kill me off.
I really hope that is a thing now. Wouldn't that be hilarious if like in the next year we fall out with one of us and one of us just disappears? That'd be fucking terrible.
That'd be so unfortunate.
That'd be really fucking bad. Like that'd be cursed. I hope that doesn't happen. Future, that'd be awkward as fuck.
One of us just makes like a side podcast.
Yeah.
Cold gamers only.
But no, that was very, very personal
Evil
answer.
twin.
I didn't think we'd ever explain why the name changed.
I'll buy the black version of this jacket. The evil version.
Nah, dude, you got to get the blue coat and be like Virgil.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. This specific one doesn't come in blue. I know it comes in black though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, now you know.
You guys are getting a lot of lore today.
Yeah, a lot of lore. You're getting all of it. Now you know. What?
All of the behind the scenes. We are just writing the Wikipedia page for you at this point.
And hey, if you like this stuff, if you want us to
You
start
just
doing,
need to put the transcript in.
Exactly. If you guys want more of this, if you want us to start answering questions and stuff like that about the channel, I'm pretty open about saying stuff like this. We just don't ever bring it up because we don't ever think it's like there's a time or place for it on the channel because it doesn't really relate to game related stuff. But hey, if you want to hear the ins and outs and why the name changes happen, want to know why the name change happened? Because we just wanted it to be related to us 6 people, and there you go. That's the reason behind it. Why did the Let's Plays go? Just because 90% of them, except for Hunters, were unfinished. Were unfinished or bad. The only ones that were good were really Hunters, and then Cal's was good, but it was unfinished. And Sam did some Pokemon ones, which were pretty good as well, but they were also unfinished, or were only 8 episodes long and didn't really result in anything because they were all fails. So I was just like, yeah. So I was just like,
lasted like 2 episodes.
Yeah. So I was like,
okay,
get rid.
That's it for this one.
Yeah. I was like, let's just get rid.
Until like a week ago that those were all unlisted. Now I was like, oh,
cool. Yeah. I think most of them are private. There are a couple that are still unlisted. Hunters are still unlisted. So if you have the playlist URL for Hunters are all still up. And I think Kane's stream highlights are up. Basically, anything that was finished is still up, which was literally just Hunters stuff and like a Kane stream, and that was like literally it. And the main reason was one, we didn't want it clogging the analytics or our search engine results. We didn't want Cal's Let's Plays from 3 years ago showing up in the Hot Gamers Only like search feed because we want you guys watching and listening to our new stuff, to be honest, not the old cringy stuff that I guess if we all look back on. If I look back on my like old original Splatoon Let's Play, I'm like, nope, don't want that here. Pretty cringe.
Hey dude, recording Kingdom Hearts 2 in my college dorm was a ton of fun.
Hey, it's a good. We might bring them back at some point. You never know. We might bring them back. We'll see.
I enjoyed the 2.
Yeah, I mean, people can still enjoy the 2 you did because they're still fucking there. But it's
all right if they weren't. I still have the video files. So
hey, I mean, if you want to upload them on your own channel, you go for it, dude. Go for it. Knock yourself out. You got a Halloween series right there.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the main reason.
Last thing about the Let's Plays, I did finish Kingdom Hearts 2, never finished uploading it, and at this point I've lost all the files because my old hard drive died.
Yeah.
So it's gone.
Yeah, that is a thing. So there you go. I don't think there's, and I think you guys know most of what's happened behind the channel now. You know why the name changed. You know why the Let's Plays disappeared. I don't think there's anything else actually. There's nothing deep about anything else. So there you go.
Oh.
HGO from this point forward. Wow. Who cares? I mean, it's just basically HGO anyway. Have you guys got anything? I've just been listing things. Have you guys got any regrets that I haven't mentioned?
I can't think of anything.
Nothing particular, no.
Cool. Then I guess we'll move on to our last little thing, which is looking to the future. We have divulged everything about the past. Let's talk about the future. The thing that I asked you guys was, do you have any hopes or goals or like anything that you want to do with the channel / the podcast this year? That was the thing I phrased to you. No pressure. Do you guys have some stuff that you actually thought about, or have you guys failed your homework once again? And I'm gonna have to pick it up.
I only learned. In my defense, I only learned the homework was due today.
To be fair, it snuck up on me, but I did it still.
I don't know. I want you to play Octopath Traveler.
That's not a fucking accomplishment. That's not an accomplishment.
We can do a spoiler cast. A really fucking good game, Ethan. Go play it.
No, like, right. Okay. I guess I'll read out what my hopes are for the future, and then I guess we can talk about what we've discussed for the channel going forward. We said it before, we said it throughout this podcast, more guests is what I'd like to have.
Sure. Yeah.
I wrote it as have the balls to actually ask some people to come on the show this year is one thing. 2 is, in terms of reviews, I'd like to at least find some contacts to talk about review copies and stuff for games, because as fun as it's been doing this for the past year, man, has it been expensive trying to cover most of the stuff that's come out this year. It's been really expensive, because if a game had come out this year and it was a big deal, chances are either myself or Hunter or Kyle or all of us have bought that game. It's been really expensive. The only one we didn't was Cyberpunk. That was basically the one that we missed out on. Or like Assassin's Creed, all of the generic stuff, yeah. But so yeah, even if it's just for indie people, just
buy it even if it was finished.
Yeah, same.
Me too.
I was gonna wait anyway. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, even if it's just like smaller developers or anything, just get in some contacts with people so that we can start reaching out to people. That's a goal that I have, that we should have. I still don't know how we're going to do it, because we technically operate in multiple regions, so that's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun challenge. Who do we go to? Square Enix Europe? Square Enix NA? I don't fucking know. Like, that'll be a fun little thing that we'll have to find out.
Which one of us is asking?
Yeah, but I also wonder, we might as well talk about it, why not? It's also one of those things where I'm wondering if it matters if we got someone in NA and we could be like, hey, can you get us in the EU code? And if they say no, you have to go through the others, I'm like, fair enough. But I'm wondering if just getting one person and being like, can you get us a EU code? I think it should be easy enough for that to happen. We'll see. I don't know. I'm a pee poo poo dummy head that doesn't know anything about video games. So what do I know? So that's one. Hopefully keep growing is one. Hopefully more people stumble upon it the more episodes we do. That's one thing.
Yeah.
We have this little small community, which I really like, of everyone that watches every week. We have about 40-50 people that consistently watch every week or listen, which is nice. And then sometimes more people show up that aren't just people that watch it every week. And we do really appreciate everyone showing up.
Super appreciative.
But the aim is to hopefully keep growing, not so that we can make money or anything like that, just so more people actually get to listen. And then, hey, maybe Atlas will finally will notice us. That's what I hope. Notice us, Atlas, please. Please. We've shilled out for your games. Atlas and Capcom, dude, if they could finally, like, if they could just be like, the amount of times that we promoted Persona 5 and Devil May Cry at this point, like, I feel like everybody that's listened to this podcast has probably bought it. So it's like, come on. You can do it. Please notice us. So that's one.
I also tout Supergiant stuff pretty frequently.
Oh yeah, Supergiant as well. That'd be a good idea.
Hit me up, Square Enix. I want a review copy of Project Triangle Strategy.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, we might be able to. There's enough time for us to hopefully grow. Maybe. We'll see. Take more risks is one that I've put down, which is be more interesting with the content that we make. Because a lot of times when we do stuff on a whim, like, hey, let's just have an episode where we start talking about Xbox and see where it fucking leads. Seems to work out, just doing random stuff. Yeah. So doing more stuff like that, taking more risks with the stuff that we make. More content is obviously one that we always aim for. I mean, this is the most content that this channel has ever had in 1 year. So that's
normally it gets to March and then we give up.
Yeah, and to be fair, we usually start in February as well. We don't even start in January. So
the fact that we've now made it through 2 Marches is impressive.
It's very impressive. Yeah, exactly. So that'd be cool. But no, more content, whether it's more reviews to hopefully get done. Introduce Definitive in Game Night. Potentially split spoiler casts off into its own thing. That's the aim. We have got more reviews coming up. Hunter's got a Strikers review coming up. I was supposed to have a Crash 4 Next Gen, a little review update going out this week, but I've been so busy with the rebrand for next week that I've not had time to make it. So it'll probably be coming real soon. I also have a couple of other things that I wanted to review, so we'll see what happens. I'm kind of losing my breath. Weird. There we go. Right, anyway. Just needed to take a deep breath, that's all.
Little did we know Ethan's character was getting killed off this season.
God, I hope not.
Oh shit, Hunter, you're ready to be the main host?
Oh no. I hope.
I'll remember you fondly, buddy.
No, I'm good. Potentially more episodes as well. It's interesting with the way that we've done these podcasts. We've tried to do one every week, and we, for the most part, have done one every week. But then we also did extra episodes and bonus episodes that we did. But then, because we had weeks off, it equaled out to just do one a week. I'm hoping that we do more than 52. Either do another 52 episodes or do more than 52 episodes of HGO, the podcast, this year. That's one hope that I have. A final dream goal would be to have a large enough community that we could do one of these live, say, do the anniversary episode live next time around and not have it be weird.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, like, instead of us just talking here, we'd be streaming this right now and having everyone else who watches in the chat, and they can all watch it live, and it not be weird and not just us be streaming to like 2 people. That would be a nice little goal, so maybe we'll see what that happens. But there you go. That's one of mine. Do you guys have any hopes, dreams, the future?
Not anything particularly that didn't get touched on already. More deaths
as
far as like
hit all of them.
Yeah,
I definitely like. I don't know. Maybe I think when I think of guests I'd like on the podcast, I set my expectations way too high, and I'm like, all right, who's the biggest person we can get?
You think dream guests, right?
Go big or go home.
Yeah, you think dream guests, like, I often think that.
Please come on our show.
Like, go on. list some that, what would be a dream guest that isn't realistically going to happen this year? But if all the stars aligned this year, who would be like a dream guest to have on the podcast this year?
I've pitched this idea to you before. I'd like to do an episode where we talk about video game music, and I'd really like to get Casey Edwards on that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah.
Either Casey Edwards or Family Jewels. Like,
either
one of them.
I mean, I would die.
They're more of an option than my pick. One of my picks would be, because my pick would be, if it wasn't one of those two, there's a composer called Austin Wintory who does a lot of podcasts and radio stuff, and I absolutely adore his. He did the music to Journey. He did the music to a load of games, and I love his work. And he's such an interesting individual. He's on Play Watch Listen. Hey, look, another shout out to that fucking podcast. But I love how interesting with an individual he is, and I'm not saying interesting as in like a, some people will say interesting is a bad way. I mean, like, he's so like just Like, honestly, he goes off topic all the time, and the amount of knowledge that he has about music, and the fact that someone can talk about a piece of music, and he can just turn around on the piano behind him and just start playing that piece of music. It's just like the amount of knowledge that he has. I'd love someone like that on the show. So that'd be like a dream musical guest for me.
But I just think that
Family Jewels would also be a pretty cool one.
I think those two would be cool since they've both worked in the video game industry for music.
Yeah.
Casey Edwards, composer of Devil May Cry 5, and Family Jewels did Cadence of Hyrule. Yeah. And I also want to say Crypt of the Necrodancer, but I could be wrong on that.
I believe.
Gosh, what is
Cadence of Hyrule is the only one I know for sure.
What? Okay, I'm gonna have to look him up because there is another guy. What's his name? I can't find him. But he's the guy that's been doing like all of the like Persona, Final Fantasy covers and stuff like that, like the jazz kind of stuff he's been doing on Twitter. Alex, yeah.
I don't know how to say his last name, but it's
him.
He would also be like a sick person to have in terms of like musical. Makala. I don't know if I'm probably butchering your name. I'm sorry, Alex, but he's blown up as of recent, like in the past couple of months, and I saw a lot of his music stuff like earlier in the year when Royal was coming out, where he wasn't as big, and I was like, this guy's really fucking cool. I wish I was cool like him. So he would be another one where I'm like, yeah. So he would be like another one for me where I'd be like, damn, yeah, someone like that, a musical guest. That's one. Mm-hmm. Do you have any, Hunter?
Darren Korb from Supergiant would be great.
Mm-hmm. Just want to talk to someone from Supergiant.
Yeah, awesome. Dude's made some of the best video game soundtracks I've played in recent years. Of course I want to talk to him.
Doesn't he also do a lot of voice acting as well for them? He does like the majority of the voice acting for it.
He did up until he did Zagreus in Hades, but up until then Logan Cunningham was like the lone voice actor.
Oh, it was Logan Cunningham. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, because I know he did a voice in Hades. I was just not sure if he did a voice.
Yeah, he was Zagreus and a couple of other ones, but yeah, and he's really good at voice acting too. I'm also a fan of this channel called GameScore Fanfare that is a really cool music analytical channel.
Yeah,
be him on.
Oh man, yeah. Dream if we're talking, have you got any more that aren't musical? You guys are very much. You just gone into like musical, dude. Like that's it. We're just gonna do a musical.
I was just going off of an idea I've given you before.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And as we can see, we can have many people that we could do a musical episode.
Maybe someday.
I mean, I could just pick a game and list off like 6 different voice actors that would be cool to come across.
I mean, voice actors would be cool, man. Yeah. Like, there's a part of me that would Erica Lindbeck, honestly, like yes. Troy Baker would also be one, mainly because when people talk to Troy Baker, they always seem to go to certain roles. They always talk about Joel. They always talk about like certain. I've not heard him talk about P4 and stuff like that enough, like some of his earlier roles. That I just like to sit down and talk to him and be like,
really old panels is what I seem.
Yeah, like there's like some really old panels here and there, but that's about it. I just really like to sit down with him and be like, yeah, like. What was the deal with Kanji and stuff like that? Like, let's just actually talk about it now, like 10 years since you've played the role.
Tell me about Yuri Lowell, please.
Yeah, tell me. Oh, Yuri Lowenthal, man. I fucking love Yuri Lowenthal on just to shout Spider-Man at him. He instantly disconnects.
Like, I want that Spider-Man!
Exactly, I want that Spider-Man.
But that one in particular.
Voice actors would be great, but that would be even harder. Like that's like a step above.
Absolutely,
that's like a step above.
Need way more clout.
any YouTubers? That's my thing. I've said before, and I've said it again, that I wanna know how fucking Scott the Woz makes his stuff, because I'm a massive fan. But I'm a massive fan of Scott the Woz, and I don't know how he fucking does it. So I'd love to have a conversation with him and be like, yo, straight up, how the hell do you make 52 videos a year? Because he does a load of podcasts and stuff, but every time he does like a podcast and stuff like that, it is more of just like, oh, we're on a topic show and here's the latest news that's happened. Let's talk about that. I just want to know about what's up with you. Like, how do you do this? Like, how do you come up with this insane shit? And how do you like mentally like deal with it? That's one of mine. Scott Lavois would be a pretty cool one.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm just trying to think.
He doesn't really make videos anymore, but talking to Alex Rochon about No More Heroes around the time that 3 comes out would be really cool. Dude used to make like top 10 lists and stuff, and he's kind of how I heard about No More Heroes outside of from a friend here and there.
Same.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to it.
God, there are so many people that I would want on, man. Like, if we could just like, hey, do you want to talk for a bit? Like, it'd be great. Like, I'd love that.
That was kind of the other thing with getting Yoshiller on the show, was that he was like, he's a big name creator, but also kind of not.
Yeah.
In a way, he's in this weird middle ground where like people know who he is.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have like a huge following, I guess. I'm not trying to like disrespect him, but
no, he's like, people know who he is, but not everyone necessarily watches him. So it was like, he was very much in a position where we were like, we don't feel too pressured asking him, because it's not like we're sitting here and it's like he's got like 2 million people expecting him to make a video today. It's like, it was a lot more of a chill experience. So yeah. God, there's so many people. I'm just still thinking.
So many people.
Yeah, just want to talk to them more than anything. Just be like, what fucking video games?
But talking to that guy would be real cool.
Who? You might kind of was low. Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't said Sugar Conroy, to be honest, Kyle.
Yeah, like anyone from TRG and crew would be great.
Yeah.
The people who made my fucking childhood.
Yeah,
basically.
Those would be cool.
Shit, Let's Plays back in the day were awesome, because it's how I got to experience games I didn't own and couldn't buy because I was in 7th grade and had no money.
Yeah.
It felt more like they were playing the game with you than just straight up putting on a performance.
Exactly. One thing, like, we're getting off topic, but I need to say this. I really, really, really love Super Genius's old Persona 3 and 4 Let's Plays.
Yeah.
That shit was my jam.
Nice.
And I'm so glad that that's how I got introduced to Persona, through Jake, because, my god, he was so good in those Let's Plays at showing the story and reacting to the story, even though he already knew what the story was. Just, you had to be there when they were coming out.
You have to be
They
there.
were like year-long projects,
yeah,
but
I bet.
They were a ton of fun to just watch.
Yeah, you had to like split them up into 10 minutes or whatever. Persona games are long.
Should have just uploaded it by the day, like in game time. Should have done that. I've been thinking that was a funny April Fool's joke.
Polished, because his videos were like 30 minutes long for each
were
episode.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
And even still, both of them were over 100 episodes.
Nice.
That's crazy. Like, I thought about doing that as an April Fool's joke, was being like on April Fool's, being like Persona 5 every day part 1, and have like that be the flashback episode, and I'd be like, see you on April 5th for the next day, because it's obviously like it's April whatever, it's like April 12th I think when Persona 5 actually starts, when you're back in real time. And then it not being an April Fool's joke, and every day just playing one Persona in-game day, and then the next day the video ends and the video starts again. I thought that'd be a really funny joke, but it's also like so much work. Like, oh my god, it'd be so good though, wouldn't it? Like, could you imagine? Like,
some episodes would be like 5 minutes long, and others would be like an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Palace Days would be like 4 hours long, and then the day after that's like, well, I think I'm just going to make some curry and talk to Ryuji, so this is going to take like 5 minutes. Like, I think that'd be a funny video, but no. I guess final dream guess that's not possible, but well, quote unquote possible, you know, as in they play video games. It's Chris Broad who does the abroad. If anyone knows me in the past year, it knows that like my favorite YouTube channel in the past year and a half has become a channel called Abroad in Japan. And I don't care about anime or anything like that, but I fucking love Abroad in Japan. It's such a good like documentary kind of channel, and I have honestly I've never before have I been ever considered myself like a YouTube fanboy, but like every time he uploads a video, I'm like, well, I'm watching it straight away and let's go. Like, first channel I actually hit the fucking bell on. But but so good. And he does play games and stuff like that, but he never talks about them. So he'd be a great person to actually talk about that kind of stuff with, because he never talks about it. But man, I'm such a fan of his, so that would be like a dream guest right there. Mainly because I just want to know how he fucking makes such good videos. How do they do it? But there you go. That's my final one. With that, is that everything? Have we said everything?
I think so.
I think so.
I think we've said a lot.
We have. I guess like the final thing to say is what to expect going forward, like slightly. Next week, touch wood. Well, for you guys, 3 days. You'll have another episode of HGO, the first episode of the new quote unquote season. Nothing's changing. The playlist is the same. The
different season, same jokes.
Same jokes. It'll still be called 53. Don't worry, it's not going to be season 2, episode 1. It's just going to be called 53. But there should be no changes. Audio feed, same thing. Video, you might see some changes next week. Don't be scared. You might see some visual flourishes and changes. I hope so, because I've been working my arse off on all of these changes right now. And if I don't get it done for the first episode, I'm going to cry. So we'll see. So things might look a little bit different, but hey, it'll all be fine. And expect new content and videos to go up as we do. There'll probably be a review up next week, probably. We'll see what happens.
At some point.
Hopefully. But with that, I guess that's it. I guess that has been our show. Hunter, where can people find you?
youtube.com/ReaperHunter23.
Nice. And Kyle, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch, both at KDavisSRL.
Nice, and you can find me at Chaotic Ether on both Twitter and Twitch. And I can safely say, with this episode being over an hour and a half, we hit 70 hours of content this year. So there you go.
Woo!
Season 1 is officially 70 hours worth of content. That's crazy. So yeah, thank you ever so much for listening or watching, especially if you listen to this episode, because if you've listened to all of this, then you obviously are just here to listen to us talk and just chill out. So hey, and you've got all this knowledge and information now that no one else has, so good for you.
Go do good with it.
Go do
whatever good it may do you.
Exactly. But now you know all. But that I guess is the final episode of the first season of HGO. Thank you so much for being with us, whether you just found us over the Xbox video, or you have been with us ever since we talked about Doom and Animal Crossing.
Good times.
It's been a real swell experience, dude. It's been a real swell experience.
I see what you did there.
Thank you ever so much for listening / watching. We'll be back on Monday for the first episode of another season that will be the exact same as the last one. So you will be like, wow, they really hyped up season 2 for nothing. It's the same shit. If anything, it's worse. Why does it look different? I don't like change. What the fuck? Anyway.
Hang on. There was one joke we had where we were going to say that season 2 was just going to have the same episodes as season 1. So the first episode was going to be Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're not gonna punish you, but man, you'd probably prefer that.
That would be a fun April Fool's joke.
Just remastering all of our previous episodes. We're just gonna do them again, but better.
Sounds good to me.
Be funny,
It's
but
the
no.
first hit.
Exactly.
We're gonna redo the first 19 all with webcams.
Oh god. Maybe one day we can reuse some of those topics at least. But
We're over here trying to dub our voices in.
That's exactly, man. Exactly. But no, that's been it. Thank you so much for listening for the past year. We really do appreciate it. We'll be back.
Thank you so much.
On Monday for more of this shenanigans. But until then, have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you for season 2 on Monday. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.